I've been here almost 8 years. My career has been in property management, apartments, condominiums. I know that once it's built, the developer gets it full, we really have no control. I'm concerned about how it's going to look and how invasive the owner or the renters could be into our property. We already have more traffic than we know what to do with. I happen to live on the back entrance off of 90th Street, and that's primarily where all the vendors come in, the construction. The traffic is horrendous. We're trying to even get out there. So if people have problems getting out at the front entrance of Oto, they're going to use ours to go out the back.
We're all concerned about the safety of the neighborhood. The traffic considerations out at 99th and 200 are horrendous. In my short time of observing that intersection, I've seen many accidents, many near accidents that are just razor thin from being very, very bad accidents. Pedestrians that have been hit. It's not anywhere near a good situation for any more traffic in that area.
But out of all the choices with the senior communities along 200, I chose On Top of the World because it was just quiet, it was secure, tree-lined streets, the people are lovely there. With the apartments coming, it's all going to change. I came from South Florida to avoid all of the mess, but when apartments come in, it's unfortunate, but the crime increases, and we don't have the secure boundaries that we need. We're hoping that buffers will be built, but there's no guarantees.
We're a community of like 10,000 people on top of the world, that's 55 plus. And to put something there in that spot that has no connection to what we do and what we need, we were hoping we could have more services, restaurants, medical facilities, something of that nature that could serve us. This has nothing to do with us except to create more traffic and more possibility of security issues, and it doesn't make sense to us.
That's why we're in the retirement community, because we don't want kids around.
We're in the retirement community to be around people all of our age. We all mix and mingle amongst each other. You know, we're there to help one another. I understand the youth outside, but today people do not take care of their youth like we took care of our youth. I'm not saying all youth are bad. I have grandkids, they're well behaved, but the problem is when people moved into On Top of the World, they were sold a false sense of security. They felt the gate was their security. There is no security in Oto. There's a lot of elderly people who live in Oto leave their doors open so their neighbors can come in and help them, vice versa. That's a chance that someone's going to take now if there's youth outside that come into Oto, mingle around and do things. The sense of security will then be gone for them.
Why are you here today?
Because under Florida law, the zoning is also supposed to conform to your future land use map, and there's actually a requirement in section 163.3194 that states that local governments must adopt zoning that conforms to the future land use designation within 1 year. And so because we don't have a zoning district that ultimately sets out all the standards that should apply to implement the project, we wanted to seek a PUD rezoning so that PUD rezoning is demonstrated to be consistent with our vested commercial future land use map, and to address the other requirements for obtaining a rezoning, consistency with the comprehensive plan as first and foremost. And so you do have policies in your comprehensive plan that would still apply, that would still regulate development on this property, even though it's vested in terms of its use and density. And so, for example, access requirements, our vested rights letters don't go into details like how will you address access to the property, how will you address buffers. Those letters just don't go into that sort of detail. Submitted a development plan, which could be in the form of a plat, a subdivision, which was the case here for the Circle Square Woods subdivision. But that developer, as long as they had submitted and obtained approval of their development plan, or in this case the plat, prior to July 1, 1973, that was the effective date of the statute, that they would be vested.
The vested right was established in 1973. According to the 1973 zoning code, commercial and multifamily uses were permitted in B2 zoning classification. A maximum density of 20 dwelling units per acre with a design to follow R3 high residential standard was required to develop multifamily in B2. 312 units are now proposed by the applicant. So based on the calculation, the proposed density of 13.79 dwelling units per acre is consistent with the density allowed. So rezoning to PUD is proposed in order to allow adjustments from the R3 cookie cutter standards for a unique design. Therefore,
the board has no authority to take those vested rights away from that developer, whether it be the density or intensity of the use,